Hey everybody. I was doing my quiet time this morning and I was reading through the book of Leviticus. I'm doing this yearly Bible reading plan. And I know sometimes people will say, like, man, like when I get to that part where we're just reading through the rules of the sacrifices, it gets boring. I don't know how it applies to my life. And I came across something really interesting, which I guess the Lord put into my mind today. As you're going down through Leviticus chapter 5, and you can check this out if you want to, he's talking about sacrifices to be made. And then you see that God commands them, like, hey, if you can't afford a sheep for this sacrifice, then you can offer up two mourning doves. These are like cheap animals to buy. And he keeps on going. If you're not able to offer the two mourning doves, like, and that's the first, other than the Christmas song, that's like the first time I've ever heard mourning doves talked about. But he says, even if you can't afford two mourning doves, then you can bring 8 cups of flour. And it just struck me. I love God's heart. You see this reflected throughout the Old Testament, but he always makes provision for those who are struggling with resources. He always ensures that his people are looking around for those that don't have enough and are making sure that they're being taken care of. And even when it comes to worship of God and the sacrifices to make, God makes sure that the door is open for anybody to be able to connect with him. Even if you don't have any animals that you can afford in any way, shape, or form, God said, then hey, bring some of the flour. Some of this, if all you have is enough money to make some bread to feed your family, then take a part of that and make this offering to me. I want you to be able to connect with me and worship me. Just love that heart. And I think the thing it was really driving into my heart as we think about how do I take something from thousands of years ago and apply it to my life is how can I make sure that the doors are open for people to come to God? Like, how can I make sure that I am a part of opening doors for people to get to know Jesus Christ better? Making it where there's a welcoming environment just in the way that I treat people, in the way that I love people. If somebody looks different than me, acts different than me, has a different background from me, I say, hey, we're humans and God loves us, and how do I meet you in that space? And so I would invite you to join me in that. What does it look like for us to follow God's example and make sure we are making it as easy as possible for people to approach God and to remove obstacles that might keep people away from him? So that's what I'm thinking about as I'm looking at Leviticus chapter 5 today. Feel free to throw any comments you want in there, or also share maybe some of what God is speaking into you. See ya. Thanks for joining me.